let's see. We sent out the minutes. Has everybody had a chance to review them?
Yes.
Any questions, additions, subtractions? If not, I'll entertain a motion to approve.
Make that motion to approve.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Public forum, we don't have a public forum this evening. And let's see, John, it looks like you're up.
Sure. Just wanted to probably have this fairly regularly just to keep you updated, but staffing-wise, the water department, including myself, we have 25 full-time positions. That doesn't include, the business manager that we contribute to in DPW, but just full-time for the water department. We have 8 vacant positions right now, but we also have 3 people out on FMLA for extended periods, so we're actually down to 14 people out of 25. So we've advertised for some positions. We may be hiring one person, hopefully, that'll come in. He doesn't have licenses, but hopefully we'll get him fairly quickly and get up to speed. Just don't have a lot of applicants, or we don't have any applicants that are applying that have any of the licenses that we really need. And we're basically starting from scratch with each employee. So we are working on trying to get the pays up, and that's ongoing with negotiations. So hopefully we'll be, be able to retain and also attract people a little bit better in the future. But it is a tough thing. And a couple weeks ago, I was out with COVID. The distribution system was out with COVID. Jennifer Lambert was out with COVID. We had somebody on vacation, so we were down to 10 people for like 10 days. So it's been tough. So, but we managed to keep up with everything so far, I think. I mean, we had some stuff going on where with COVID, we were able to manage it. And so that's just an update on the staffing.
Just want to add that big credit to John and Steve, because they were both out with COVID, but they dealt with 3 water main breaks during that time, 2 water main breaks, including an issue with Great Wolf Lodge, and they show their dedication for sure.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
The next item is the Falula plant. With the seasonal turnover in the reservoir, we did have high manganese issues, which we have had it in past years, but this year was an extreme event. Caused some discoloration out in the water system. It wasn't a health hazard or anything like that. Just caused some discoloration. Kind of went pretty wide ranging through the system. We had hoped that it wouldn't last very long, but we ended up actually shutting down the plant and moving everything, producing everything from the regional plant. And then we ended up doing a bunch of flushing through the plant and through the reservoir, from the Lovell Reservoir down to the Falula Reservoir, running some water through there. And the manganese levels are back down, whatever, after that turnover there. Just like I said, it was an isolated thing, wasn't a health problem, but it did cause some aesthetic issues as far as discoloration of the water. So we haven't turned the Falula plant back online, even though Monday the manganese levels and color levels were pretty good, just because of our short, we're short on staff right now. So we have only a couple of treatment plant operators available right now. So we're going to kind of hold off on restarting it until one of the employees comes back from FMLA, and hopefully, start up then. In the meantime, we're going to cycle water through the Falula plant a couple times a week, put it to waste so that it is ready to go, make sure everything's primed. So if something were to happen, we'd be able to, start up within an hour or so. So, we're prepared in that sense, but the regional plant can supply all the water and did for a number of years before the Falula plant was built. So, and with staffing right now, it just means it would be the most prudent thing to do, because you divide up what we have for guys, but then we can't get any maintenance done in either plant. They're just doing the regular lab stuff in the run, so we want to make sure that we're able to keep up with all the maintenance. And we've actually, one of the retired gentlemen, we've actually had him come back and work a few hours now and then to help out with things, and appreciate his willingness to do that. So. But I think all the, the manganese was in the system out, and the distribution was cleared up in the last week or two. So I think the complaints just basically disappeared after, we shut down the plant, and a couple days after that. So next item on the list is that there's some new regulations that require basically us to take an inventory of all our service lines to ensure there's no lead service lines. We've never encountered a lead service line, but we have encountered some lead goosenecks that are right at the main. Very few, maybe 5 to 7 over, several decades. So there's not many, but DEP is still requiring us to go through this to basically prove that we don't have any, issues with lead service lines. So as part of that, they actually are offering a grant to assist us with that. So rather than us doing all the work, we can actually hire Weston & Sampson. So we're applying for that grant. It's about $140,000 to do all this work. It's basically a loan, and then the loan's forgiven. So I have submitted that to City Council, and I was hoping to get a vote tonight. I don't know if it's needed or not, but I figured while we're here anyway, we might as well just accomplish that at this point. So just to endorse applying for that grant for the lead service line inventory work. So
What is the process?
about 140,000 altogether.
No, what is the process to determine?
They're basically going to go through all our information, all our data, all our tie cards and data sheets, and look at, the condition of the, what's there for materials, and we have over 11,000 of them, so there's quite a lot involved with it. So basically create a new inventory of all those in order to prove to Mass DEP and US EPA that we don't have lead service lines. So
Okay, so we're looking for a motion to support the application for the grant.
yes.
Someone like to make that motion?
I'll make that motion.
Do we have a second? Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Motion carries.
Yeah, there's not a lot of grants for water work per se. I mean, they have low interest loans and things like that, but this is one of the few grants. And we also did a GIS infrastructure grant for $96,000 a couple of years ago that allowed us to get all our water system plans on the GIS system and update all that. So we try to get those grants when we can. To just, there's not a lot out there, but when there is, we like to apply for it just to get as much money as that.
Federal or state?
What's that?
Is it a federal or state grant?
It's a state grant.
Yeah, there was a state, it's through Mass DEP, but it's called an Asset Management Planning Grant. And then we actually got a second grant called a WURP, Water Use Resource Planning, I think, or something like that. And they're actually in the process, excuse me, of linking our tie cards to the GIS data that was produced during the first grant. So I think that's still outstanding. I think Time Bond's working on that one. But.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a lot of work like that we just would never have time to do in-house, so getting those grants helps us with that and helps us also meet the regulations and for future planning down the road. So, like I said, they're not giving out millions of dollars. They'll give us low-interest loans, but these grants will help us just to update things and help us to better manage our assets and water system. So
instead of using our property taxes, they're using our income tax money.
Well, supposedly ARPA contributed heavily to the Mass DEP SRF program recently, so ARPA money as well, federal taxes and income taxes.
next item on the list is the Oak Hill Tank project. We've got basically everything set. The contract's all signed. It was signed a while ago. DEP's got everything set with the SRF funding. Everything's in place. We anticipate we had to drain the tank, and they completed a scan of the inside in order to design the new tank. That's part of their work, the contractors. So they've completed that and completed some initial design calculations on that. We anticipate that late March or more than likely April, depending on the weather, is when they'll actually start full construction on that. So the first step will be to, demolish that tank and everything up there before, constructing a new tank and hopefully get it done. We're hoping by the middle of summer to end of summer. We would have rather done it in an off-peak time, but just with they have issues getting materials as well, the contractor, and they were hesitant to sign the contract unless we would allow them to extend the schedule a little bit. They wouldn't be able to meet the schedule we had initially presented to them. So we agreed to that because we had gone out to bid, and everything's just going to get more expensive. So we'll get through it. We have a couple pump stations, the Oak Hill pump station, also the Rosedale pump station. Either one of them alone can meet the demands of the system, so we do have redundancy in that respect. Both will run off pressure as needed, so we should be able to meet any system demands unless there's a a major catastrophe, and of course, we'll monitor that carefully. The Oak Hill system's fairly new. We don't have many breaks in that system because of its age. So I think we're got a pretty good plan in place, and we'll get that tank done, and that'll be the last of the storage tanks that need to be replaced. And we are doing maintenance on the other ones as well, too. We installed a mixer in one and did some other grouting on another just to make sure that, we inspect them regularly, but we also make sure that there's any maintenance needed that we attend to it so that, it doesn't deteriorate whatsoever. It's a big investment. We want to make sure they last the decades they're supposed to, so.
What was the low bid on, I'm just curious.
I think it was 1.3 something million DN tanks.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just curious.
It's going to be a little bit smaller diameter-wise, just a little bit taller, not much different, very similar in size. So just an odd, because that tank is in ledge part of the wall, so they have to pour a new wall inside that wall. So we're not up against, ledge again like we are now. We're just a liner. So I think it was just under 1.4 million, 1.3 something. So
Is the new one concrete?
yes, yeah.
Does it get lined with something? Or?
No, just a concrete tank. So yeah.
That's wrapped in the metal.
Yeah.
Yeah, they had originally talked about maybe a glass, glass steel tank, but because of the lightning strike possibility out there, I think that was ruled out.
Plus, would have been hard. We would have had the steel tank and then a wall of ledge next to it. So how do you fill that and prevent the steel from corroding?
Right.
We would have had kind of a concrete wall. You don't want, here's a steel tank. Here's 12, 15 feet of ledge right here, right against it, or a gap there. Otherwise, we would have liked to entertain that too. So that was the other concern. So.
Will the new tank have more room around the perimeter because it's thinner? I'm just wondering, or is it still up against?
It'll still be up against that, which will be, it'll be fine. It's very accessible. It just won't be that far above ground, just like the current one's only 4 or 5 feet above ground even at the middle of it. So, any other questions? Yeah, again, just materials delays and work delays, and they're not staffed as well, as well as they'd like to be, so it kind of got put off a little bit. So I'm glad that we're at the point where we are, so we can definitely have a schedule in place. The last one is just another update on the SCADA project. I passed out the latest schedule for completion. We're still waiting for some of the components, which we don't anticipate till get sometime in March, or early April. So this is the current schedule, with it basically being completed by October of next year. So we're over a year behind schedule because of the chip shortage, but we have weekly meetings about it, and plus a monthly bigger meeting. So we're on top of everything and kind of monitoring every aspect of it. If there's any way to move things up, if something does come in, because some of this stuff is unpredictable. You place an order and they say, it'll be in March. Sometimes it'll come in early because the company that is our contractor actually said that's happened on a couple other projects where they've ordered stuff and actually came in unexpectedly early. So if there is any possibility there of moving things up, we will. But right now, this is the current schedule, and hopefully it doesn't get pushed out again. So I think that's it. Just wanted to update you on that these things are still going at a snail's pace, but we'll get there, and we'll have a much improved control system for the plants as well as all the stations. So it'll be a huge plus. The operators will actually, right now, if they're home, they have an alarm. They don't really know 100%. They kind of know what the alarm is, but now they'll be able to take home an iPad or something like that and be able to look at what's going on with the plant. Or even if they have a concern about something, it's like, oh, geez, we had high turbidity, we had a little concern about this. They could check in at home, whatever, and see what's going on and make sure everything's, correct. So a lot of our security that's monitored by outside vendors, that's going to be back in house. So the stations and things like that, all those security systems, a fire alarm or anything like that will be through the SCADA system. So that'll be some savings there. So, and we're going to get away from the Verizon phone lines because the copper lines are not maintained anymore. In some areas are just too remote for fiber optics. So, we'll, be positive in that respect. We'll be replacing some things with cellular bills, but we'll be replacing the phone bills with cellular bills, and pretty comparable between the two when you're only talking some amounts of data from a remote station. So I think that's all I have. So if there's any other questions.
Question for John? Okay, looks like we're good. Thanks.
Thank you.
So Mark McNamara can be with us tonight. He's out with some health issues. So we've got Kenny DuPont, who's the sewer system manager, here with us, and he's going to fill in for Mark.
Welcome, Kenny.
Hi, thanks. Okay, number one is the feasibility study for Grief Container Plant Sewer Service relocation. We began developing a base map of the project area to review potential relocation options. We had some issues with inspecting a drain line off of Princeton Road. So we're looking to get DPW to assist us with that. We had to move like a concrete pad so we can access the drain with the camera. We also discovered 2 vented manholes that may be contributing to the odor issue there, maybe slightly, but that's pretty much everything on that. We're still getting some complaints on odor from there. I've had a few calls come in, and C-Click Fix, we've had a few reports come in, and they tend to blame the sewer system for that, but the collection system's fine. Everything's running normally. We've gone out and checked everything. We're still cameraing that area just so I can tell people our infrastructure is fine. So the next issue, if we're all set with that, the combination manhole separation program. Since August, our crew has separated 19 of these. So since August of this year, they're doing a great job. We found that a lot of these are located on drain lines that weren't being used. No catch basins are connected to them. So we've just separated them out. And if we do need to activate drains in those areas, we'll install drain manholes if we have to, but we haven't for some of these areas, like 70 years, they've just been like that. And so we've just found that there's no need for a drain line there, and we're closing them off. So an easy fix, and my guys have been doing a great job with that. We had 262 combination manholes back in 2008. Last reporting period, we had 131 remaining. We are now down to 109. So things are really improving. We're making great progress.
And those are mandated to be separated under the consent decree. And the work that Kenny and his crew's doing is saving us huge money as opposed to going out to bid to separate these out. So it's really great that we're doing these in-house, because we're talking like hundreds of thousands of dollars in cost savings.
Yeah, it's money we can spend in other places too, and improving the system, and so it's good. Okay.
That'll solve the next bullet point.
Mm-hmm. Or at least help solve it.
Okay, on the next issue is staffing. Oh no, I'm sorry. The study, wastewater rate study update. Weston Sampson and their consultant have been reviewing the information provided, and they will let us know if any further information is required. We do not see any issues getting this prepared for the Water-Wastewater Commission and City Council reviews by January 2023. So looks like everything is running smoothly with that study. Next, we have staffing. We interviewed and sent HR a recommendation for a new wastewater general foreman. So waiting to hear on that. We made a decision on that, and just waiting to hear back from HR. We're also waiting on word about a senior sanitation engineering aide down at the plant. And a position was posted for the plant equipment repairer. Again, we're just waiting on on that with that to get prepared for us. Also, there's a vacant senior operator position, which is critical, and that's another position I'm waiting for. And there's another position at the plant that's coming up maybe due to a potential retirement. But I'm not sure what that is, but I'm just going by my notes here. So, and I believe that's it. Other than, well, in my area, we're looking for a GIS engineer. That's my former position. So we're looking to fill that as well. It's,
Yeah, and did HR post that yet?
I haven't heard anything, but yeah, we were trying to get that up there too. So I think everything's all lined up to go. We're just waiting for it to get posted now. We got the description and everything, and you know.
I think HR is just trying to catch up. So the Human Resources Director was out with health issues for 6 weeks or so, and then as soon as she got back, her 2 staff members went out with COVID. So I think they're both finally, or all 3 of them are finally back in the office this week.
Lastly, we have the Franklin Road extensions. There's a development going in, proposed development on Franklin Road extension. When they approached us, we had concerns about capacity in the trunk, this would actually travel kind of cross-country into Depot Street and then tie directly into the trunk. So what we did some, my crew did a repair on Depot Street. There was a couple, like 6 feet of pipe that was questionable, and we replaced that. We also did some cleaning in the trunk sewer, and we were able to camera that, and the camera showed that the trunk was actually in really good shape. So, and we took a lot of debris out of it. I believe it was like 30%, maybe 40%. Blocked. It's never been cleaned. It's been in operation since 1914, and we just, hopefully it's good for another 100 years now. So no, but that looks good. So we believe that now there's capacity, and knowing that the pipe looks good, we're giving the developer the okay to move forward with permitting and considering too with the required 4-1, the mitigation, the I&I mitigation. So that's going to move forward now, and hopefully we'll have, moving forward, the trunk line's going to be adequate for more development, hopefully. So, and I think that's all I had. So if you guys have any questions.
Any questions, Kenny?
Thank you for the presentation.
All right, thanks. I'm a little nervous, but first time up here, so thanks.
Is there any other business? Other business? Okay, the next meeting will be 5 p.m. Wednesday, December 21st. Oh, my God. If there's no other business, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn, please.
We are adjourned. Thank you.